a broken covenant revealing the truth. A woman in the deep shadow of a phantom electron singing. My heart bleeding into the mouths of kneeling cells, waiting for the irregular pulse of her voice. Her aggressive voice, her warm human voice, her birthing voice, my human ears. Her crying truth, her crawling, squirming, shifting approximation, eventually breaking all its promises in order to feed the multitude of falsehoods that form my flesh. She sings, cradles the truth and sings. Somewhere I heard this voice as a child. Believed every word and never stopped believing. It's the only truth. I bathe with my original tears. It's the only lie that eases my cramps. She picks me up from the floor and carries me to my bed, knowing I'm just pretending to be asleep. She justifies mortality for me and sings of a chasm encircled by fragrant trees, overgrown with wild raspberries, draped with a fog of self-determination that sooner or later all myself stumble into, drunk from screams of falling plums. She laments my pallor and bemoans the shriveling reservoir of fantasy. As I cough up stale, embryonic fluid, clinging to the warmth of a terracotta stove, groping for the spoon that fell behind the couch, slurping translucent two-dimensional broths boiled from the bones of unnatural birth. She sings of the traumatized ghost of wolves who yelp after meteors and break their teeth on stones and bones of unnatural burns. She sings of the ones we all fear in our heart of hearts, our liver of livers, the ones with no father, no mother, no other, but with hunger enough for all three, the uncounted ones, the ochre auras of acidic flowers, the ones who dream in our heads, pricking our sleep with our own knives because they can't afford blades of their own. The ones who peel tubers with their eyes and then eat them raw with orphan fingers. She sings of the luckless, the backwards born, who mix their first breath with their last. Numbers on their wrist, numbers on their walls, numbers on their days, feeding on metallic food, puking forks, spoons, and knives, born with silent shrieks in their throats and tangled roots for sucking opioids, born with the enemy's blood in their veins, dying, bruised, tattooed, with orbital eyes. She sings of their prolonged journey into misery and sings of the insignificance of evil in the greater scope of things. She sings of the face of the inverted woman, the massive density of her pupils absorbing joy, the piercing nose, the black hole and moist lips kissing with the force of a city of snails as finches drop like rocks from trees. Cherry pits turn poisonous. Grass grows gray and downwards in the clearing, and the beginning of the end marks the end of the beginning. She forewarns me of the palpable substratum of my belief system, how it will ultimately crush me, her raw, empathetic concerto melting dread, and how I will yearn for the origin of her song, as she takes me in her arms and soothes me with her tongue. She sings of the impossibility of proof. And with a predatory vibrato that soars on night air, pecking at the heart of naivety, she sings of love, of unattainable love, irrational love, numbing love. She sings to me of the plausibility of love and the possibility of kindness as she opens a door where there was none before, entering uninvited, making herself comfortable in a corner of my being where even I am not comfortable.